What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to make a video talking about how I bought my first house at 20 years old. So it kind of starts way back when I was 16. I made a goal that I wanted to buy my first house by 21. So I kind of had to sit down and strategize, and I was like, okay, what do I have to do to be able to buy a house at 21 years old? And I was like, well, I'm gonna need money. And I'm gonna need a good credit score. So I was like, okay, well, let's work on the credit score first, because obviously one of the big things with credit is just time. So I knew I needed to start that as soon as possible. But my parents wouldn't help me get a secured credit card when I was younger. They just didn't think I had the responsibility for it, which is fine. It worked out anyways. So I guess kind of the first thing I started on was the whole money-making part. So I had a job at 16. That's my sophomore year of high school. I had work release junior and senior year. But anyways, I had a job and I worked 30 hours a week all through high school. And then on the summers, I would work overtime or up to 40 hours. And then if overtime was approved, I would work usually around 70 to 80 hours a week throughout the summer. But I didn't make that much an hour, so I knew I had to work a lot of hours, as many hours as humanly possible and that my work would allow me to get. So I did just that. I worked, if I ever had the chance to work overtime, I was working 80 hours plus a week. And however I could make money on the side, doing like a little side hustle, flipping cars, I would buy and sell anything I could. Whether that was a car or tires or phone or whatever I felt like I could make profit on, I was flipping to make even just a little bit more money. But because of that, I had to pretty much sacrifice my social life, because unfortunately having a social life is expensive. So all through high school, I really didn't go out and do anything. Like it was work, sleep, school, work, sleep, school, not in that order, but that's pretty much all I did, is work, sleep, school, work, sleep, school. And I didn't have a social life. I didn't go out with friends. I didn't do pretty much anything. Like I didn't go on whenever my friends went camping or went out to go somewhere or whatever road trip, most of the time I didn't go. It was very, very seldomly that I actually went on those trips. So I sacrificed my social life to be able to buy a house at 20 years old. So anyways, I pretty much did that for 3 years all through high school, just bankrolling as much money as I possibly could. And then when 18 came around, I knew I needed credit, like I said. So on my 18th birthday, I went and got a credit card and an auto loan. Now the credit limit they gave me was 500 bucks. And I knew that credit cards didn't really help your credit all that much. I knew I needed something bigger that had a lot more of an impact, like a heavy loan that would show a little bit more. So that's why I went and got an auto loan. And when I first got my auto loan, it was financed at 16% interest. And when I first saw those numbers, I was kind of a little blown away that the interest rates could be that high. But I knew I needed to build the credit, so I was like, okay, well, this kind of sucks. I need to bite this bullet for now, but it'll pay off in the long term. Also, the loan officer told me that, hey, come back in 6 months once you get some payment history, because it's just because you're young, and refinance, and we can get you a much lower rate. I was like, okay, perfect. So I did exactly that. I came back pretty much 6 months later on the dot, and I refinanced, and it went down to a 6% interest rate, which is the best you can get on a motorcycle loan, because it was a motorcycle. So I pretty much, after 6 months, I was able to get the best possible rate that I pretty much give to anyone. And I knew another big thing was credit utilization. I only had a $500 limit, and although I wasn't carrying balances, I knew it just looks better if I had a higher limit and wasn't using as much of it. So that's on my 19th birthday. I got an email from my bank and said, hey, come in and let's see if we can increase your credit limit. And I was like, okay, perfect, let's do that. And so on my 19th birthday, I went in there and increased my credit limit. And they increased it from $500 to $4,000. Anyways, it was huge. Because now I have a $4,000 credit limit. I don't change how much I spend. I just have a higher credit limit. Shows better utilization and all that. And anyways, it's beneficial. I pretty much just continued bankrolling as much as possible. And so just so you guys have an idea of how much I work, like working 100 hours a week wasn't uncommon. I think the most I worked in a week was 110 hours. And the longest shift I've ever done consecutively was like a 27.5-hour shift or something like that. I don't remember the exact, but I know I came in on like Thursday morning and I didn't leave until Friday afternoon. So probably about Friday around 10 or 11 or something like that. I don't remember the exact, but pretty much around 27 hours. I know that much. So just to give you guys an idea of how much I was actually working. And this whole time I've been living at my parents' house rent-free, and I didn't even pay for meals most of the time because I was just eating whatever my parents made. So I was just bankrolling cash. And honestly, that was like 50% of the reason on why I actually decided to buy a house, was because one year they just decided, okay, now it's a new year and you're gonna start paying rent. And I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go buy a house then. And it kind of just all worked out because they started charging me rent, and then I got a promotion at work, and you know, so it all just worked out, and I decided to go look for a house. And I knew I wanted it to be a good deal and be a rental, so I was looking, making sure I could cash flow or live for free in my house. So it took me a few months to actually find a house that I wanted to buy, and then just one came up on the market. I put an offer in and I got it, and it was great. So I would say if you're looking to buy a house, buy 20. And just so you guys have an idea, I'm 21 now. I've owned the house for just about a year now. But if you're younger, 16, 18 or whatever, and you want to buy a house, even if you're 30 and you just want to buy a house in the coming years, I would focus on cutting back your expenses as much as possible. Any payments, get rid of those. That, you want to save as much money as possible. And then you want to focus on credit too. So you want to make sure you have a good credit score and good credit history. So if you've been carrying a balance on your credit card, pay that off. If you have a car loan, that's not necessarily bad in my opinion. But how much is your car payment? Is it a $200 payment or is it a $500 payment? If it's a $500 payment, I think you should look at downgrading or getting rid of that payment or something somehow. It's not good to have that high of a payment. That'll destroy your buying power for a house. In case you guys are curious, when I first bought my house, I had a 760 credit score, which locked me in a 3.5% interest rate in June of 2019. So anyways, I tried to make this video as informative as possible. It's kind of hard to remember exactly what I want to talk about and what I should go over while I'm out here riding, because it's just me trying to remember what I should talk about, and I don't obviously have anything written down or any notes I can look at. So if I miss something, or if you want me to go more in depth on a certain part of the home buying process or anything, just leave a comment, let me know, I'll make a video about it. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and comment and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.